While Isaiah continues on with the front of the car, this is something that gets something a little something special. As you guys know, the rear hatch was blown to pieces racing Ken Block, and the hood is up there that did that damage. You can still see the damage from the previous hood, not only to the roof, but also to the hatch. Now, that's all it took for me to go, well, we need another hatch. I bought several months ago from one of my buddies a carbon fiber, at least skinned. I mean, I think they're Sabons. This used to be big back in the late 2000s. Clearly it's light, we'll weigh that in a second, but more importantly is it shows off a nice carbon fiber thing. So this car will not be full carbon fiber for SEMA, but it'll be its final body. Just giving it a little bit of time, the rest of it will be carbon, but even higher quality than this. As you can tell, that's like all fiberglass. And it can be fiberglass. Like, I'm not gonna knock that part of what they're doing, but this isn't $1 million car stuff. Like, this isn't like your dream sort of setup. This is my 2-rotor, and I wanted to have a cool hatch. Now, this is only half of the equation. If any of you guys got the Unicorn Blood, you know that each of them came with a chunk of tempered glass. That was glass all made up of this panel right here. This thing is actually really heavy. It's glass, it's thick. That makes up some of the weight of the hatch. Now again, when it comes to cars, one of the things that you in your mind want to do is reduce the center of gravity, get it lower, because it makes it easier for the wheels to handle the weight, not as much weight transfer and so on. So I went and bought this, and I am blown away that you can just buy this and it shows up like a day or two later. This was like, again, a mystical thing. And as you can tell with the dust on it, I've had this stuff here for the last couple months, so you might have seen some of it in the background. Optic armor. This is their part number. Thankfully it passed instead of failing. That would have sucked to find out right now. But it is a 3/16 inch thick formed rear window for a 93 to 95 Monster RX-7. And it is, I don't remember what they call it, but it's black sand. Now you can do tons of modifications to this stuff, and you can see reasonably thick, but it might be too thin for the air pressure that we're gonna see with this car. That said, hey, we start somewhere. And as you can tell, that's reasonable weight. So we'll go ahead and measure the combination of this and this. The positive side of this is when they ship it flat. This piece comes wedged between two things of cardboard, and it is completely flat. Open it up and it curves to the correct side. It will scratch once we take this off. So bittersweet about that, but great for racing. So here's the downsides. I purchased all of that from a friend, and it's not my friend's fault. This is a roof skin, and it really is a skin. It's what, 1, maybe 2 layers of carbon? 1 layer of carbon thick. Marsh Composites made it. It's number 222. I totally get it. I totally understand the purpose of it. It does not work for us at all. It's kind of half-assed for us. It goes on the very top of the car, and you would have the windshield and the rear hatch, you know, as such. It's totally different weave than this piece. It's totally different finish. Almost see through it, like it's because it's just 1 layer. Why would I add more weight to say I have a carbon roof? So for the sake of SEMA and for the sake of everything else, now that we have good carbon, guys, unfortunately this will not get used. A lot of the guys on Patreon were saying, what about the Greddy rear hatch? And I knew exactly what they were referring to. The Greddy rear hatch was that tube that came out and was like, turned it into like a true hatchback, even though it is a hatchback, like that true like square hearse hatchback. I strongly considered it. Go ahead and blur that out. Oh, it actually makes it really easy. Okay.
I feel better about myself now.
I don't.
I'm gonna say
32.
I was gonna say 30.
Okay. No fucking way. You see that?
48?
50.
Yeah, we'll call it 50.
Okay.
27 pounds.
Yeah, 27 pounds. So with just 2 bolts in place, I wanted to make sure that the damage doesn't hurt. I'm gonna take this back off and hammer this way to get rid of this lip, because it's sticking so much further out here that it actually catches on this as we go to open it. Watch. They basically start to, yep, it's kind of stuck on there. He's gonna do all the body work to fix almost all this, but we can't even get that on, so we'll fix that real quick. We have a very philosophical choice here, and I went with this, but Isaiah has corrected me with the dead blow.
It's for solid impact.
Yeah, it gives me a solid impact. So this is for damaging things.
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah. Just get a little. There. We don't need any more. Let's call them off. Go ahead and drop it down slowly. Okay. It rubs the slightest bit, but there it is. So I'm going to start transplanting the parts off of the old one onto this one, including we could do the glass and leave it at that if we can't get the plexiglass or the Lexan looking right. There's a lot involved that I'm not a good expert on at all. This is a very exciting moment in making Isaiah work. We're moving the 4-rotor to another shop for the first time in a long time to finish what we started. So the body work has made it this far, but get our trusty U-Haul trailer, and we're gonna send it off to Abe's shop to do all the final body work that'll be kind of hidden underneath all the wrap at SEMA. That body is ultimately going to be hopefully perfected in the next 2 weeks, ready for us to make the carbon molds of. So this is a massive step. All you dreaming that we would have a body for this car, well, you'll see it certainly unveiled at SEMA.
Get under that front bar.
Better yet, I can hook it through these 2 bars.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ingenuity. Car could run, but we have the whole turbo system being ran. I've got my little winch that reminds me of a Jurassic Park. That winch actually works really well. Those are meant for 50-pound rear hatches. Look at that.
Brand new. That's
There you go.
That one's lifting. Yeah, they're way too strong.
You can take one out. That's still strong.
Oh, that works.
Yeah, this really is the last time I'm going to see this car at the shop looking anything remotely like this. I suspect it'll come back being all one color, ready for us to do everything else. But this is a massive moment because this makes the car look like the $1 million car that it is on the outside, finally. So the corners of the front bumper are obviously the most important part.
Yeah.
And then anything else we can get done after that. Abe helped us out early on back in 2016, and yet again, he's saving our asses at the last seconds. So we have the very first one of these my brother made. My brother went way above and beyond on this. He caught one of these on fire initially, but he laser etched this. I don't even know where the fuck he found this bag at. That's the crazy part. He found a little baggie this size of the rotor emblem, and then it even has the ability to polish it. Like, what? Ari's been helping out big time with. He requested, and he gets number 7.
Dang.
Yeah. And so even that's all laser etched. And Kev did it 2 passes on the numbers so you can see them, but then you get the firing on all rotors. And the quality that it's.
Whoa.
It takes him.
For the camera.
Yeah. So I will tell you right now, I watched my brother cut a couple of these. This takes forever. Look at the craftsmanship. My brother honestly has put way too much time into it, and I mean that in a good way. So I'm super excited that that's the quality that's on the car, and that's the quality of these little things. And these are not available publicly. You cannot buy these, and even if you join Patreon right now, you don't get them.
These are the actual emblems
This
that
is
are on the car.
Yeah. So we will ultimately, for you guys that are interested in these, we will make a smaller version of this. So it'll be more of a $50 size. Those will be not numbered, and they won't be the original one from the back of the car. But this is just for all the guys from Patreon that have been supportive and giving ideas and helping. Literally, you, Jake, all the guys coming out and helping make this thing.
I love you guys.
Yes. Do not join Patreon now expecting to get one. That's not the point of this at all. I give this to you.
Now my rodeo will run.